Hello again, YouTubers. It's Roadog28 here, back with another video. Today's video I want to address something that's been on my mind for a few weeks, probably about a month or so. And this question that I'm going to ask is mainly for the people who are going to vote or want to vote for the Conservative Party. Why are you voting Tory? That's my question, because I'm really genuinely interested in why you're voting the way that you're going to vote and whether or not I can try and change your mind in this video. And I know, this election is by and large to do with Brexit, leaving the EU and trying to get the best deal, whatever that means, to leave the European Union. You might be voting for that, or you might be voting for self-interested reasons. You're concerned about immigration, the amount of people that are supposedly coming into this country, stealing jobs, as they say. And I just want you to know that these excuses that they're putting forward as to the problems that you're having and you're facing, as to the economy and jobs and wages, etc. It's nothing to do with immigrants, really. It's nothing to do with benefit cheats. It's nothing to do with poor people. It's to do with the government and underfunding public services. So there's so many issues I could go on to talk about, but I think one of the most important is the NHS, the National Health Service. At the moment it is grossly understaffed. I mean, the way the government is just really insidiously starting to privatise little bits and pieces of it, it's just really insidious. And, as I said, it's really understaffed because of cuts, and, nurses and doctors are working stupid hours just to look after their patients and make sure that the NHS itself, the whole thing, doesn't collapse. They're just working unspeakable hours. And they don't have enough time to see their patients because the health secretary has set stupid efficiency targets for them to meet, which are virtually impossible because there's just too much for them to do, and there's too few of them to do it. Which is it's awful. They're working so hard and they're getting so tired and stressed that sometimes they think that they won't be able to do their job properly. Another thing is social care as well. At the end of the line, if an elderly person, people are living longer these days, you're going to get a lot of elderly people admitted to the hospital. At the end of the line, when they're about to be discharged and they need that social care at the end of it so they can be properly looked after somewhere else other than the hospital, that it's not there because of cuts. That's all been cut away, and there's either too few spaces for them to go to, or people have to ring up separate private agencies for them to go to, and it's really disorganised, and it's really difficult for staff to manage that aspect of social care, because at the end of the day it's not really there due to cuts. And the longer the person stays at the hospital, at the end of that line, the more bulk up at the beginning in A&E, etc. So you just get a big pile up, which is just spending and wasting money. Another thing we can move on to is education. The number of children in a class is starting to build up a bit more, so you're getting over 30 kids in one class with one teacher. The teacher is getting really stressed out because she can't concentrate on more children that she wants to concentrate on, so that child learns more and understands more and gets educated to a better degree. That's no longer happening because, as I said, class sizes are getting bigger. Housing, not enough housing is being built for people, just because, I don't know why they're not choosing to do it. They're just choosing to, give more tax breaks to their rich business corporations. Also, it's causing there to be more homeless people on the streets than ever before. Just the number of people in cities that are having to go to food banks because they can't afford to buy their own food because it's too expensive for them. They can't make enough throughout their, whatever their working hours, they can't make it up. 0-hour contracts, they don't know when they're going to be working, they don't know if they're going to make rent, to be able to pay their rent in their house and all their bills. I mean, it's just a never-ending, this is what the Tories are doing. This is what they're doing. I mean, I really could just go on. I mean, you got, like, mental health cuts, you got job centre sanctioning, you got job eligibility assessment tests, and they all say that it's for, like, austerity, we need to save money to cut back on the deficit that we've got, and that's fine. However, if you can afford to keep spending money on going to war, needless war, and keep dropping bombs on countries you don't need to drop bombs on, and spending money on Trident, and spending money on nuclear power stations that you don't need, and spending money to refurbish Buckingham Palace, which is like £370 million, paid for by the taxpayer, how is it that you can afford all that, but you can't afford to invest in public services? Answer me that. Because people are suffering. I want you to know this, because people are genuinely suffering to the point where people are dying because they're not getting the benefit that they need in order to help them along in their life, in their day-to-day life. Struggling, may I add. Just, some people can't even go outside in a day. They can't even do things for themselves because they're not getting the support that they need from people who's you know, they're getting cuts all along public services. People just, they can't, they're unable to because they're not getting paid enough, or it's just the services just aren't there for people. And immigration is a big thing. They use that as a humongous scapegoat to try and point the finger and distract you from anything else that's going on. And it's just like, oh, look over there, there's a foreign person stealing your job. They're stealing your job. Look at that Asian person, like that Chinese, Polish, Romanian person. They're all coming in, like, open borders. There's the open, complete, like, no security. Oh my goodness, everyone panic, terrorism. And immigration is not a massive problem. If anything, immigration has boosted this economy. Just take my word for it. Look at the amount of foreign doctors and nurses in the NHS. I wonder what would happen if they suddenly all disappeared. What would happen then? They give you all these scapegoats, the media as well. They've been pushing this right-wing agenda where it's really hateful. Let's just chuck everyone out, chuck all the immigrants out, you know, UKIPers, right-wing extremists who just are doing this for their own benefit, for their own agendas. And, you know, the reason why they're doing it is just, they just want you to look away because they're handing cash out to their big business corporations who have moved businesses elsewhere so they can pay their workers cheaper labour, and they'll be making more profits because of it. That's why. It's not the immigrants' fault. They'll happily work for, you know, they want to do that work because if it means they'll be feeding their family, and I'm sure that's the same for everybody. Everyone wants a decent job with a decent wage, but the government wants you to look somewhere else and look over there. It's a foreign person. I'm starting to believe this government will do anything they can to hold on to their power or get more power. Whichever way, they're looking to increase their hold on government and their hold on power. If it means, you know, dragging Jeremy Corbyn, the Labour Party, through the dirt to do it, then they'll happily do it with the support of the right-wing media, Daily Mail, Daily Express, the Mirror, whichever. They'll do it because, you know, it's a power grab is what it is. And I just really implore you, after like what I've just spoken about, to really think about your vote and why you're voting for them when you go out and vote on the 8th of June. Just, I'm not going to be voting Tory. I don't want to tell you who to vote for, but after what I've just said, it will just be a complete shutdown of public services, and things will just get worse, and, you know, progressives will just have to keep on fighting and fighting whilst the right wing gets more powerful. So I implore you, please do the right thing and you know, if you want to vote tactically to get the Tories out. But yeah, I just wanted to do this video just to let you know the truth of what is really happening in this country, that they don't want you to know about, that they won't broadcast on the media. I just wanted to tell you, just to so you know that is the real truth, and yeah. So yeah, go vote on June the 8th. Happy general election.